Nice to see you guys. I'm Diana Waugh, and I've been working in the world of long-term care since the mid-70s. No, I'm not that old. I started very young. But let me give you a little bit of my background. I started out, do a lot of teaching, started out thinking, you know what, we shouldn't be restraining people. This is how I started many years ago, because we tied them up like we do dogs. And I feel just like the sun when I say that, okay? So I ran around the country and talked against restraint. Then I thought, you're not right. It hasn't got a darn thing to do with the restraint. It's got to do with, we don't know how to manage falls. If people don't get up, they don't fall down. So I ran around the country and talked on how to mitigate falls. For some reason, we decided that if you got old, you never fell. Of course, people fall all the time. Football players fall on purpose, you know, whatever. And then I thought, you're not right. You still don't have it. All behavior is motivated. Every single thing we do has a reason. So why are they giving up? And I got into the world with behavior management. And I've been working with folks that have short-term memory loss for a very long time. Hence where I am today. I believe that 99.5, I make things up in case you're interested. So, you know, if it doesn't make sense, just go there, she went again. I believe 99% of the behaviors we receive from folks that have short-term memory loss are our fault. They're our fault because of what we say, and that's what we're going to talk about today in the first half of the program, okay? And so consequently, I did everything wrong. I figured you're going to go all the way. I did everything wrong with my mother, everything, even though I was already teaching this stuff. Quite different when it comes home, okay? After she passed away, I thought, what could I do to try to help others not get in the pickle that I got into? Hence, I wrote a book, was way back in 2008, called I Was Thinking. It's very little. I say to people, if you're not going to use it, it's a workbook, and I'll talk about it. If you're not going to use it, don't buy it because it's not heavy enough to be a doorstop. Okay. But it really looks at how can I, just from changing a little bit how I say things, change our relationship. Okay, so that was that. And that's enough about me. I do all kinds of other stuff and have fun and enjoy life, and had a birthday this week. I'm older now. Must be smarter. I must be smarter than I was last week. I'm fairly sure of it. Okay. I love interaction. So if you have a question, if I'm saying something, you know, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, raise your hand right then. Okay, because that's how we really learn quicker. I think they should give me this fancy little thing. I go watch that too. Okay, we're going to address two things. The first half of the program is going to look at this communication business with folks with short-term memory loss, which is where I get my todays, or where my yesterdays and my strengths. And then Danielle, I can't believe it. She called me and she said, why don't you do something on how to deal with out-of-town relatives and all their advice? I said, well, how good do you think I am? This is ridiculous, okay? But I called some of my customers and said, what the hell? What's that? And so I have created Life's Not Fair, okay? Well, what's it? Life's Not Fair, WTCA. WTCA is supposed to go down one line, but ignore that part. Okay? Life's Not Fair. So we're gonna play around with a little bit this after lunch, with maybe how we can change some of that incoming advice. Okay, but we're gonna start here. Well, no, it's Ned.
I did it.
Oh, there it is. Okay. We still today play this game. But I know he's here, but if you just don't, you know. I mean, after all, he was fine yesterday. He remembered everything, or she remembered everything yesterday. So I don't think it's such a problem. Lynn and I were talking before we got started. The earlier you jump on to see how we can fix things, the better off you are. Unfortunately, we wait way too long. And because of the communication piece, I'll give you this, I'll probably say it again. Here's the problem with the communication piece. How many of you like to be put down? How many of you like to feel stupid every time somebody talks to you? How many of you like to fail? You see, when we communicate not as effectively as we could, that's what happens to our loved ones. They no longer remember why I don't like you. But when I see your face, my stomach already starts to churn. And because of something you said, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, it holds. I will not be wrong. And that's why I like to start early, because I don't want to break the bond between you and the person by saying something, are you with me? That makes them go, I don't want to ever talk to them again in my whole life. Okay? I think you're going to have to move them, Daniel. Give it a hit. Oh, back one. We're going to do a little education, real fast stuff. I believe there's lots of kinds of memories, but I believe there are three. The first one is functional. And this should be on your handout. Everybody got a handout? I think we got it. One page back front. This is reasoning. This is 1 + 1 is 2. This is that the stop sign and it doesn't stop. This is reasoning. This is comprehension. Yeah, there's another piece there we'll talk about later. The one with the lines on it, don't worry about that right now. It's comprehension. I understand what you're saying to me. I understand what you're asking. The third one is very conscious. It's right here. It is the first one that declines. It is the one that's a little difficult. We always laugh about where did I put my keys? Okay. Where did I put my keys just as part of life? The difference is when I find them, I know what to do with them. With our folks with short-term memory loss, oftentimes they find the keys. I'm not quite sure. They have an opportunity to fail lots and lots of times through this particular one, but it's the first one is the one you'll unfortunately sometimes miss. Let's look at the next one. This is procedural. These are automatic things. Absolutely no conscious control. Eating, driving. It stays with us longer than functional, but not as long as emotional. And I'm going to talk about driving. Well, let's talk about driving more. Probably one of the most difficult decisions is to have someone who has short-term memory loss stop driving. And if you don't remember anything else, remember this. Never, never, never say to the person, you can no longer drive. Because that's not true. I can drive. It's automatic. I know this part. I know the pedals. I got it. What do you mean I can't drive? What's missing? The previous one. Functional. It's the reasoning that gives us trouble when we're driving. What do I do when that ball comes in front of my car that the little boy just lost? I have to make a real fast decision. That's the other kind of memory. Are you with me? So please, 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 don't say to them, you can no longer drive. You say things like, I know you can drive. That's not even a question. But man, the other day, I was driving down the road and a little boy fell off of his bicycle right in front of me. I had to think so quickly. Many times, if you've got a good relationship, like, well, that happened to me. I know, isn't that scary? And you can begin the maybe we don't want to take that car out anymore. But it's not because you can't drive. Kill that sentence, because that sentence shuts down. I'm not listening to you anymore because you don't understand. Okay? Already hit that button one more time. And this is the one we're going to talk on. This is emotional, unconscious. It's exactly the same. You don't like me, you don't know why, but when you see my face, you're going, Now, I'm probably the only person here in the room, but I'll tell you about me. There are people, and I don't have memory loss. There are people in my life that when I see them, I don't like them, but I can't remember why I don't like them. It's something old. And again, if you've ever had that happen, something happened a long time ago, they said something, whatever. That's what happens to all of us. It's unconscious. It's a gut reaction. It just is. When you say you can't drive anymore, right away, I'm on the defensive, and we're not going to talk about this anymore. Okay? Almost an automatic. It's cued. It's cued by the sentence you're not going to drive anymore. So as you look at these, you're going, hey, I think I got an idea here. I'm going to be able to work with this. It stays with us. I believe it stays with us until about 10 minutes after we pass. This is the one that is never leaves us. This particular kind of memory. And that's why I like to work on it. Give that thing a hit. Why do I care? Give it another hit. There's 3 components here. What I believe is no matter who interacts with the person, We've all got to be on the same page. The family, the person, and the staff must understand who they are, what trips their trigger, what are important things to them, what are things they could care less about. Because I believe that this step, our sentence now is, get my back. You hear that? Can you get my back? Yes, that makes sense. Shake your head one way or the other. Support me. Support me. Watch me. I believe that when we work in this world and the emotional, what we're doing is putting our arm around them, figuratively. Don't, I can support you. You can count on me. And when you break that by saying no, 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 you already had breakfast. I didn't don't remember breakfast. Why are you telling me I had breakfast? A simple sentence like, oh, you had breakfast can blow the whole day. The whole day. Because you took your arm around from my back. Okay? So we're trying to get everybody on the same page. This is when we talk about working with facilities, that's why I work with them. Also, okay. Going rail on. I believe the brain has lots of jobs, but the two I want to talk about is making the best sense of what I'm hearing, the best of my ability. Have any of you ever fallen in public? Have you ever fallen in public? What was the first thing you did? Did you? Yeah. Oh, look around to see who's watching. Look around to see who's watching. And when I came up and said, "Are you all right?" You said, "Okay, I'm fine." Now she's got 2 broken legs. Why did she just say she's fine? Because I want to make the best sense. I don't want you to think that I need you. I'll eventually ask for help. Okay? That's all that they do. I'm making the best sense out of my reality that I can make. I just did a video on use of pictures. I think pictures are wonderful, but one of the worst things we can do is go, do you remember who this is? Do you remember who this is? Do you remember who? I don't want to look at pictures anymore. Okay? We can talk about, we've got lots to talk about. This course takes about 6 hours, so we'll try to shorten it up a little bit. So I want to make the best sense out of what I'm seeing in my reality. The next thing we want to do, I want to be safe. And I don't mean physically safe. I don't want to feel stupid. I don't want to feel stupid. If you've ever, when you think back to when you were in school, think back to when you made a mistake. You're going, oh man, I'm always going to know that. And what am I going to do about that? Because I want to maintain who I am. Those are the 2 things we're going to look at. Okay. What is cognitive loss? We're going to make this real simple. Are any of you researchers? Good. Cognitive loss goes like this. Short-term memory loss. And I'm done. And I'm done. We spend a lot of time and a lot of money deciding what kind and what is the cause of the memory loss. There's no fix to anything. And so we got frontotemporal, we got Parkinson's, we got Lewy body, we got who cares? What I need to know is how can I work with this person today and end up at the end of the day with them feeling successful and useful. You'll hear me say that a lot of times, okay? That is what cognitive loss is. As I mentioned, there's over 100 reasons why people have memory loss. And I think the day it really came home to me, I was teaching in North Dakota and I was keynoting, and there was another keynoter. His name is Carl Mecklenburg. Carl used to be with the Denver Broncos. I hate football. I don't understand football. I think it's stupid. We both had books. We're sitting at a table next by each, and I love to talk. And so I'm looking over, and he's got this big monster ring on his hand. And that probably means something. I don't know what the heck that means. So I'm trying to be, think of something intelligent to say. And I say to him, "Hey, Carl, I got an idea. How about we swap books? Mine is how to talk to somebody who has memory loss. His is here you can be." Huh? So we signed and we passed into each other, and I was uncomfortable. I mean, our areas were so very different. And I said to him, "Carl, I don't know this. I know you don't need this book right now, but maybe you'll have a grandma or a grandpa. You might find it beneficial." When I was saying that, I wasn't looking directly at him, and he said, "My wife needs it now." He's probably in his 40s. And I thought he was being funny. And I was closer than this, and I looked at him, and those weren't funny eyes. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I've had 5 very serious concussions. and I'm losing my memory and I'm scared. And I went, oh, maybe. Then I remembered it was right after Jesus died, stuff. And I said, wasn't that sad that, they'll kill himself? And he said, you want to know why I shot himself in the chest and not in the head? And I thought, this conversation's getting a whole lot more serious than what I said, let's just swap books. I said, why? And he said, because he was losing his memory and wanted to save his brain for research. That was the day it hit me. Anything that reduces blood flow to the brain can result in short-term memory loss. So if we focus on short-term memory loss, we can address a great deal of issues rather than worrying about what the heck is the diagnosis. Okay? That's where I live anyway. I put this new one in because I decided if you really want to learn how to work with folks that have short-term memory loss as well as the elderly, use the scammers. Think about it. I wouldn't say stranger danger for our people, obviously, because they call. They need you, right? They need you. Just $2 is worth. They call you back. They never tell you you're stupid. They never tell you you failed. I could choose every one of them. But they have got the skill that we keep forgetting to use. So please, please, please think in terms of what the scammers do. Use the good stuff and don't listen to them. But listen to what they're doing. I'm going to make you successful and useful. If you know of anybody who's been scammed, very intelligent people, but it's such a good line. Call me back, and you have 17 different phone numbers. There are warehouses full of these people in India. Okay, so keep that in mind. I don't want that scammer to get a hold of them, but I do want to learn what they're doing. So I want to use it. Well, now the thing just died. Okay. Give them up. Excuse me. What are you talking about? I don't mean give them up. I mean give up your expectations of them. We expect that they can do exactly what they did before this short-term memory set in. And they did it well. We can talk about checkbooks. We can talk about all kinds of things. Checkbooks just came to mind. What's wrong with them writing a check? You say, no, you're going to sum it all up. Do you care? You know what? Why don't you write the check? And I'll take them to the post office. If they're fine, they go. If they're not, they go in the trash. I void it up in my checkbook and I write the right check. We find so many things to argue with them about that maybe we could stop arguing and make their life better and ours too. Give them up. Give up your expectations of them, and life works a whole lot better. Now, I would assume you're here because you all have someone in your life or in your church or in your neighborhood that has short-term memory loss. Tell me some of their strengths. This is something we kind of lose because we're focused on what's not working so good. Tell me some of their strengths. I'm sorry?
My husband's back, so I've never
Use them. You've got to do this, how many people that take, whatever. So many of the things we do, I kind of go like this. Maybe you don't need to know the source of it this one. Maybe you don't. But if it makes me feel successful and useful, where's the harm? Where's the harm? We're trying to keep them in our reality, and that's different than their reality. Okay, another strength. Okay. Yes.
My husband likes to clean up.
Oh my gosh.
I know, shocking. I love dinner, and never did before, but I think it's something he feels he can do.
You can finish. See, you got it.
So he's putting things in the dishwasher and watching what's in the dishwasher by hand, but
Fine.
But yeah, that's.
Good, just be higher out.
I could just direct him a little bit more in specific areas, but
Right. That's good. That's excellent. Okay.
My husband likes to do that too, but he always did that. Oh, mine didn't. No, he always did that.
Keep going with it.
He likes to do that.
Keep going with it.
Can't even boil water anymore.
Right. That's the thing. He's got something he can do where he can see what's that word I keep using? Yep, okay, give me another one. Music. There's a big move in this country that music's the be all end all. It's wonderful, but it's one of 5 senses that we have. And it makes me sad that we get all hooked up on music. I think music is great. Now I got a question for you. Tell me the favorite song.
Anything 60,
Okay,
anything 60, and the youth record collection.
okay, perfect. And if I were gonna share for him, that's one of the first things I need to let me know. Okay, because while I'm doing, making this better, whatever, I can put one of those on. And I can even sing along. That's what I even say. Okay, music. All of the senses are so important. Another one. You're getting there. We're not in a church, but if we were in a church, what might come to your mind? I'm sorry?
God.
And the spiritual people of life. Okay? Do you know where they are? Do you know songs they love? Do you know Bible verses that they love? When I was working in the world of fault mitigation, one of my best fault interventions was put a Bible in their lap. Well, don't do it if they're an atheist, that just makes them mad. But if they had a spiritual belief, put a Bible on their lap. We're trying to mitigate fall. We're trying to reduce the amount of time they fall. Why would a Bible work? What did we learn about the care and feeding of Bibles when we were kids? It's special. It's special, and you don't want it to fall on the floor. So if I put a Bible on their lap, 9 times out of 9.5, they'll go, here, take this, I gotta get up. And wasn't that what I wanted to know in the first place? Right? But utilizing something that's important to them. All the components of the person. And we've not touched on the one that we're gonna talk about a lot today, and that is long-term memory. They got solid long-term memory. Solid long-term memory. Part of the value of my book is it's a workbook to capture those things so that you don't go, hi, how are you today? If I was thinking about the time we went to Niagara Falls, some memory that means a lot. It works like a charm. It truly works like a charm. But you've got to know it. You can't start with a short-term memory question and then try to move it because you've already made them feel pretty. So long-term memory is extremely important. And it's hard for us because we've lived with them for a long time or we've known them for a long time. But we need to be able to bring it up. Okay? Bring it up. And we're going to bring it up. You heard me say, well, we'll talk about that in 1 second. Okay, let's go ahead. There's some things we don't say. How many here like to hear the word no? Anybody here want to be told no? Neither do they. Drop it. Get rid of that word from your vocabulary. Don't say no. And you say, well, but it's back to that feeling thing that we're talking about. It's the emotional piece. No, you just had breakfast. No, those two colors don't go together. No, I told you we were going to go day after tomorrow and it's not here yet. We use no a great deal. And no, matter of fact, my son and his wife didn't use no with their children. I don't know, that's been a good thing. But it worked. It worked fine. Okay? Don't use the word no. Don't use the word no. Let me give you a couple pieces. What I've said several times, how we can gum up the day, we can start with, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? That is a short-term memory question. I have no earthly idea how I am. But I don't want to fail. So I'm going to tell you something. I've got 2 drawers. I've got a long-term memory drawer and I've got a short-term memory drawer. Okay? Let me tell you about those drawers before we look at the where to look for information. To answer, how are you? You called me yesterday. Well, Danielle actually called me yesterday and she said, Diana, I'm going to come get you by 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday and we'll go out to breakfast first before you come over to teach. Well, I thought that was a nice idea. I've got short-term memory loss. I put it in my short-term memory right over here. There's only one problem. The short-term memory drawer has no bottom. Anything that goes in the short-term memory drawer is gone. So it's 8 o'clock. Here she is at my front door. I'm still in my pajamas. And she goes, well, let's go. I go, well, if you'd have told me you were coming over, And she says, I did. I went, no, you didn't. She's smarter than that. She wouldn't have said that. But we have a disagreement. And finally she says, never mind, just get dressed and let's go. So I get dressed, we go out, we're sitting in the restaurant. I like to talk. Nothing in that short-term memory drawer. I look over in the long-term memory drawer, and I found a story about when I had my knee done. That was 35 years ago. And after I had it done, it hurt quite a bit. What did she just ask me? How are you today? I'm having trouble with my knee today. There is nothing wrong with my knee, but you've driven me to find something to answer that question. I think we spend another enormous amount of money trying to, then she has taken me to look at the knee and the MRIs and CQSs and all them letter things. But you drove me to find something to answer your question. And I kind of sort of failed. Then you say, you didn't do this because she was feeding you like this. But then you say to your loved one, what did you have for breakfast? I have no idea. I have no idea. And as far as I can remember, I didn't have breakfast. And now we start, yes, you did. No, I didn't. People that are in facilities, I think we spend so much time getting unhappy with them because unfortunately they don't do such a good job with this communication business. I believe a lot of families end up jumping up and down on the administrator's desk. I'm spending $12,000 a year and you didn't serve mother breakfast? And they go, yes, we did. Well, she said no, because we drove her to ask by asking a question. She had no information. Well, there's nothing in there about that. Okay. So now I failed twice. And then we say, what did you do yesterday? I can try. My mother was good at this. If I was doing it wrong, remember? And she would say, we had so much fun. Lots of people came and we had so much fun. And what did I do? Well, what did you do? And I kept pushing. And so she finally had to say, I don't know. I watched the man and his wife one day go through this whole sequence, and at the end, she's trying to cover, and I would cover, every one of us would cover. I don't want you to know I don't remember this stuff. And when she got all the way to the end, she said, I don't know what I did yesterday, and I just want to go to my room. And he said, go to your room, go to your room. Every time I come to see you, all you want to do is go to your room. Don't you want to talk to me? And I wanted to say, no, sir. She doesn't, because you make her feel stupid. And she's crying. She's very unhappy. Okay? So we want to figure out, how can we do that? How can we deal with that? What not to say? Do not use the word remember. As far as I'm concerned, it's a red flag in front of a bull. Because, especially early on, I don't remember. But it scares me. It scares me. Now, let's see. I saw you, but I don't know your name. What's your name? Me? Lisa. Lisa. May I pick on Lisa? Sure. Okay, good. I see Lisa here in this class. It's amazing. I go, Lisa, for heaven's sake, haven't seen you for years. Do you remember you and I were at a seminar together? You remember this? You remember? And we were sitting next to each other. You remember that part? And well, I hate to say this, but you were talking a lot and we got in trouble. You remember that, don't you? And I spoke her. You remember that we are together, right? Why? Why does Lisa always lie? Why did she say yes? Why did she say yes? To say things. To say things and to make me shut up. Okay. I can say the same thing. Lisa, oh my gosh. I was thinking, you and I were in a class once together. I think this was your mind. I was thinking about that. We were close. Well, the truth of the matter is, we got nobody to talk. We talked about it. That's what I would say. Making sense and all that. Maybe it's a possibility. What's the difference between those two? When I said, do you remember, where did I put all the pressure? On her. You remember, right? When I did the I was thinking thing, where was the pressure? On me. Hence the name of my book. Kill the do you remember? And that's hard. That's one of the ones we'll all blow. We'll all blow because it's how we talk. Okay? But don't put pressure on them. You think what you think, and she can go, well, I don't know. Or she can go this way, off of it. Okay? Let's go to the next one. These are the senses we talked about, and this is what you talked about with the music, but there's so many others. What do they love to see? And I want it specifically. They love to see not just birds, but they're really crazy about those grackles. You need one, I'll bring you several. I know my birds. Something specific, a beautiful blue sky with white clouds, a beautiful blue sky with no clouds. What do they like to see? These are the stories now that you're gonna wanna bring up. On my way in today, I saw this turkey. All right, so you didn't see the turkey, but you know that seeing one of the turkeys is something they love to talk about. Okay? See, smell. I hate the smell of roses. I think they smell like dirty feet. I think they're pretty, but if you want to show that you love me, bring me a carnation. Once you know carnation, I love every good thing. Confirmation, graduation, all that. We had carnation. I love it. See, smell, taste. Careful with taste. Don't ask me what I want to eat. That's talking. But you know that I like liver and onions and brains. I don't know where you're gonna find those things. Well, liver and onion I can find at Kermit. But so you can say to me, what you feeling like? Liver and onions or brains today? Give me a choice, but help me figure out what are the things that I like. Give me an open-ended sentence that I'm gonna tell you what lobster. Well, we didn't want to pay for that. See, smell, taste, touch. Extremely important, and one of the things we use all the time. And this is where I get fussy about this just music. This music's great. We wear the kind of clothes that we wear because we think we look good, they feel good. And I get frustrated when I see all the old folks in nursing homes in sweat. They never wore sweat. Well, maybe they did, but by and large, they didn't. My father wore overalls with, zip overalls. He was a farmer. Why are you having this sweat? We can always talk about that. Okay. What are the things that I love to touch? My quilt. I have stuffed animals. I have a stuffed rhinoceros. These are important to me. These are the things where you put your arm around them. I just saw this little rhinoceros. I know you've got a big one. This is so cute. Cute. See, smell, taste, touch, and fear, which is the music we talked about. And we've got another specific song. Now we're going to look at long-term memory. Hey, Dad, I was thinking about the time when the Air Force flew over and they made that USA. Isn't that interesting how they did that? Hey, sis, I was thinking about a little neighbor girl who looked like her dog. Mom, I was thinking you told me you could get a pair of nice looking shoes for $1.77. Take them to an important information story. If I'm sure, but you gotta be ready because otherwise you must say, well, I know you. Okay? Let's check the next one out. You need good memories because sometimes they'll remember in their long-term memory the sad story. Their mom died, my dog died, my child died, the house burned. They'll remember. You need to know what are the sad stories that are triggered. You're not going to bring them up, but you need to be ready for when they bring them up. I can't think of one sad story that if I think around it, there was something good. Your mom used to make the best interested kids. Yeah, she's gone, but she made those angels. I miss those angels cakes. The house that burned. Parties we had in that house. Take them to something good to see if we can shake that sad story, not out. Don't go clear over here and let's talk about, Venetian wine. But you gotta know a story that you can, and you start with, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But grandma was great and begin the conversation. Let them, it's their reality, and they want to talk about it. Okay, funny story. A friend of mine had memory loss, and she and her husband were always in forever arguing. She wanted to go see her mom. Now, her mom had died about 20 years before this was going on. And unfortunately, he'd go, now she's dead. You remember she's dead. We went to this and it would just go downhill. So one day I was speaking. And I had tried to tell him all this, and he was having trouble with it. It's tough when you have a lifetime of experiences with just tough. And, so I was talking, and he happened to be, yeah, it's actually Leal, that's where I was speaking this time, which is funny. He was in the audience, and he raised his hand, he said, and I never use names, but he said, you're talking about my wife. And I went, oh, Lord. And I went, what was you think? How did I do? Because we didn't do very well. Because here's what I've done. I think we went to a restaurant, and I'm going into the restaurant, seeing his wife are coming out. Okay, I teach this stuff, and I said to her, hey, what'd you have to eat? I wish I had a video camera, because I yelled out, she turned around and grabbed his arm. And I said, geez, you should have had a V8 that I wasn't ready, right? I didn't want to spend a student. I had all kinds of stories. She was a realtor, she loved dogs, and I knew a lot about her, but I wasn't prepared, I wasn't expecting. So I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, wow, I hear they have good food here. Just turned back and she took my hand. Her eyes started to shine again and I said, I am so hungry. Well, she said, you get in there and get something to eat before you start today. And I went, well, thank you very much. It's so kind of you. And that was the story that her husband was referencing. He said, you didn't do so good. You started out with a short-term rental question. Yeah, I did. Time rolls along, we're at a thing in Waterville, we got a entertainer. And the conversation was right here. Aren't they still have a pretty voice? Isn't this guy pretty? And there's she and her husband are there and a bunch of my friends. She gets up, comes over to me and says, hey, I got a question for you. I said, sure, what do you need? Of course, my mom. I thought, okay, I think I can do a little better than I did before. And I went, what a great question. With that kind of enthusiasm, and I said, while I'm thinking on that, tell me the neatest thing your mom did. And she never missed a beat. She said, oh, she was so organized. Oh, well, that's something I could use. Well, she said, I taught my daughter how to be, or she taught my daughters how to be organized. And I said, what a wonderful gift she gave me. She looked me right in my beady little eyes and like, well, you don't know where she is, neither do I. See you. And it was over. And that was the argument that she and her husband always had, because he tried to throw reality at her. So I said, how do I do it? You're getting better. You're getting better. So you need to know with these sad stories, like your mother being gone, what was the neatest thing about her mom? If I saw her again, she passed away. If I saw her again and she brought up her mother, what would I say? One, I just gave it to you. Give it to me again. I was thinking your mom was very organized. And what that shows her is, I don't know who you are, but you got my back. You know about my mom. Okay? Okay. We're rolling along. Oh, this is just another good memory about, our dog is dead, but it was funny when we turned you into a reindeer. Okay, go ahead. I love this one. Thanksgiving. Gonna rain turkey, son. Stuffing falls, things happen. People drop rolls, bees roll off the plate, stay alert. Okay. But you're not laughing. Why are you not laughing? I think that's very funny. Okay. Good memory. This is my own thing. I don't like the word goodbye. I don't like it at all. I think it's too final. I like, gotta get rolling, got to give me something that makes sense to me. Okay, so I was working in Hawaii. I know somebody had to do it. So I volunteered. I was working in Hawaii and this guy was an ombudsman and he'd been to my class and he called me and he said, I got a bunch of social work students and we're gonna watch your video and then I'm gonna process it and I will call you. So he called, it's 6 o'clock here. And we're talking and I'm talking too much. And he said, you know, Dan, I have got to get going. Oh, I said, John, sorry. No, he said, you know, here's the problem. I've got to go get some kitty litter before the store closes. I bought a hook, line, and sinker. In Hawaii, it was noon. Okay? But it made sense. And I went, oh, I'm sorry. And then I stopped and I went, John, you don't even have a cat, do you? And he went, no, but I listened, didn't I? Come up with something that makes sense. I've gotta get going, I've gotta let the dog out, I've gotta, get some milk, I've got to wash I've gotta do something, love you much, see you soon. Because when we leave with, and when we don't leave, no, I gotta leave, don't leave, and you get into that thing, and now everybody feels bad. And I think a lot of times families are a little reluctant to visit their loved ones because they don't know how to get out. I mean, get out of this situation. So you need to be ready with what is your reason for living. Love to save it. I know. I gotta continue before the store closes. Okay, next one. Oh, now, I've already told you all this, but now we gotta do this as a group. Don't ask the person with short-term memory loss a short-term memory question. How are you? What'd you have for breakfast? What'd you do yesterday? If you don't remember anything from this session and remember this, you got it made in shape. Stop shoving them against the wall, and that's what we're really doing. We don't mean, I'm not certainly saying, I didn't be mean to my mom on purpose, but that's what happened, okay? So together we're gonna say this out loud. You ready? Everybody, we're gonna say it together. Number 1, 2, and 3. Don't ask the person with short-term memory loss. Short-term memory. We'll lose everything. Okay, let's move along and see what's next. I've talked about this, but you gotta do your homework. You have got to be ready with long-term stories they like. You have got to know those sad stories so that I go, yeah, but I want to talk about how funny the dog was this time he locked himself in the car. What are the good stories to go with those? So you're ready. Because otherwise, we're human. And we make, oh, I did I tell you that? You make mistakes. You will make mistakes. Okay? But here's the deal. Acknowledge them. Matter of fact, I just did a video, and there's my video list is on there. What's on a little white piece of paper, or something I hand out to. And one of mine is on, oh no, I said no, now what do I do? Acknowledge you did it. So that didn't make much sense, did it? Take the responsibility yourself and try again. Because when you get nervous, what do they pick up? Something's wrong. Something's wrong, so she's nervous. What? And they're very intuitive. They probably can pick up feelings faster than anybody I know. Okay? So I don't want to convey to them, oh, I just mess that up. I want to say to them, well, that didn't, what, did you hear what I just said? Oh, for heaven's sake. And then go on. You've got to be willing to say, I screwed it up. And we do. Don't beat yourself up. Admit it, step back 3 and try again. Gotta get your homework done. Gotta get your homework done. Okay? One of the greatest things, I think, is families teaching families. One of the reasons that I have been successful is that I was a family member. Okay? So it's not like I'm going, well, you should do this, and you should do this, and you should do this. I can tell you what I gummed up. I can tell you the mistakes I made. I can tell you why I think we need to do it a little differently because of where I came from. Okay? Families teaching families. If you know anyone else who's having trouble with this, offer assistance, show them the video list, show them the, here, what's the second word?
Your compass?
Compass. Video list. How can you help? Buy a book, or that was for Bruno there. You didn't do that, did you? Okay. But seriously, help others. Because we're all the way back to that first thing where they had the elephant in the room. And we're still scared to talk about it. We're still scared to talk about it because we can't fix it. I have to tell you this. Remember in the old days when somebody had the big C? Now people go to work, go get their chemo, and come back to work. There's commercials all over the TV. Take this thing, you won't be quite as sick. Because we can fix it. Many of the cancers we can address. This guy is okay. This guy doesn't have it. Okay? Alrighty. Not yet. What about you? You're going to be the rock in this operation. So don't forget about you. Can we prevent it? No. Don't know. Some people get it, some people that don't. Depends on what happens in the brain and the blood supply. Two things that are beneficial are exercise. Anytime you increase the blood supply to your own brain, you're doing good. Same as using your mind. Any of you play computer games, Lumosity, they're doing a lot of research on that. iBrain, I mean, there's 50 different use your brain, and they're saying, don't just like use Sudoku over and over and over and over. Try different stuff, use different hunks of your brain, try to keep it rolling. That's what we have to work with. Besides, it's fun, so I haven't heard anything particularly. Okay. All righty, what's the next slide? It might be, oh, yeah, because our whole goal here is, our whole goal is I want us to be calm. I want the person to feel contented. Oh yeah, that's right, I need to. I don't want them to feel successful. And the closer we can get to that, the easier each day is. Because nobody ever says this is going to be, this is an easy challenge, this is a tough challenge. Okay? Even if what I tell you can only change 10% of your day, I'll take it. It's 10 over nothing. Oh no, this is the second half.
Take a break.
So we're
All
gonna
right.
take a break.
Yep, so for those of you who are online, we're gonna take like a 5-minute break. And then we will resume back.
What time is it? Where's our? Okay, this is the part. Oh, those of you online, if anybody had any questions, tell them too. We can certainly deal with it once it's over. I'm not gonna run away. Danielle asked me if we could look at how to improve relationships with our families and how to reduce unneeded advice. Okay. Well, here's what I'm thinking and see what you guys think. Let's talk about it. Family, get that possum with all of his family members. I like possums. Nature's Nursery, by the way, just moved to Waterville, and we have a possum. He's one of the ambassadors. You know, they're so ugly. That's the problem. They're such good little critters. I mean, they eat tons and tons and tons of bugs. When they get old, their eyes start to bug out. I mean, the fact that you're ugly to start with, and now look what's happened to you. Poor little thing. Okay, life's not fair. That's how we feel. Life's not fair. I'm the primary caregiver. I have all the responsibilities, and I have stuck it in the button. I have siblings who are going to tell me what to do. I have aunts and uncles who will tell me what to do. I have cousins. I have friends. I have so much advice coming my way that I can't deal with it. So we want to look at what's cooking, what's happening that's making this, I say, occur. Let's roll ahead. Why is this happening? Does this sound familiar? You're taking care of mom. Your sister lives in Alaska. She calls and says, how's mom? How many times do we start with negative stuff? Well, she fell down, and we had to take her to the doctor, and. I'm wondering if we're not setting ourselves up for failure by giving them bad news. Because when somebody gives you bad news and you care, we're going with these people care. We're not going with people that are trying to steal the money and all this. I know there's some other families, but not in this case. When you say to me, mom's just really having trouble remembering to eat, why wouldn't I give you advice? You've asked me for advice. You didn't want my advice. You were simply sharing. I think what you were sharing, flip the slide before the next one. I think you were sharing this job that I'm having here is tough. Okay, are you getting that? No, you didn't say that. But when you said, well, she wandered away and she can't seem to get dressed, and you gave them all the negatives, look at things that are bugging you. And you're trying to get them to go, gosh, you're working so hard and I'm not doing anything. And most times that doesn't really come through. So my suggestion is, can we flip it? Can we figure out how to start on to the beginning? One more, two more, okay. Is our first conversation the guy on the left or the guy on the right? The guy on the left is the one where you're going, and then you wouldn't believe this, but you have to take all the pills and you're given all the negatives. Or is it this dude on the right when you said, you know, she used to be an artist, and you won't believe yesterday she made me the tulip. I was so excited. Let me show you that tulip. Let me take a picture of it here on my phone. And oh, you don't have a smartphone? Well, I'll figure out how to do this. And let me share with you what Mom did, what John did. That was good. Because remember when we were talking about strength during the last session? Sometimes it's hard for us to remember strength because our whole world seems to be focusing on the negative. So the more you can focus on the strength, the more good news you've got to share with that family member. Okay? I really believe, what do you think? This is a new program, so how do you guys see this? Yes, no, maybe? You can say anything you want.
It's good for me to hear some of the what's normal, not
Right. Yeah. Somebody has another comment? You, yeah.
If you focus on the strength, then they think, oh, well, she'll be okay. She'll have him a little bit longer. She'll be fine.
And you say, sure hoping so. Sure hoping so, because if you say anything that sounds like you don't understand, I'm dying here, okay, which is what you want to say.
Exactly.
They go, well, here's what you can do. You know, I think you should put him in a facility. I don't think,
Oh, no.
you know what I'm saying? Once you've said you're in trouble, if I like you, I love you, I'm gonna try to fix it for you. And that, you didn't want my fix. And when they say it's gonna be better, oh boy, I should hope so. Today was a good day. Your very short term, comment. We're talking about today. We're talking about, we're not talking about 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 6 years from now.
You don't have to be a primary caregiver all day. If somebody calls and I want that, I might talk about the limited well. And it's not that I'm asking for advice, but how do you kind of,
I would say that. I would say, you know what I want? I want you to listen. I want to blow up and tell you how bad. Be honest.
Yeah.
Because when you start with, well, you know, I didn't get any sleep last night, when you start with the things, most of us want to help. We really do want to help. So my brain starts to go, what could we do about night? Maybe we just got to help her come in at night. And I'm not even listening to what you got to say. So I would start with, you got 10 minutes? I want to blow off. Steam. Not looking for advice. I'm looking for an ear. Got an ear for me? Okay. And I'm going to tell you stuff that's making me frustrated. And please don't try to fix it for me. Not today. Maybe I'll call you. We can talk about that later. But today, I'm blowing off steam. Set it up. Set it up ahead of time. I don't want advice, but I do want an ear. I did that time. Listen, if I'm real frustrated. And I get that. I mean, I totally understand that. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. What I said then is I want you to set the tone in this conversation. But even your negative, set the tone. I'm going to be screaming here, and I just need your ear. I'm setting the tone. Okay? I want to set where we're going to go with this. I'm going to talk like this for a while. You know, I'm just thinking that I just gotta deal with that behavior Mom's having. I'm going to be thinking on that. There's a class coming up I'm going to go to. So I'm not out here by myself. And you feel like you're out there by yourself. I'm not negating that at all. Okay? And share the good news. Share the good news. Share the good news, which means you gotta look for the good news. Because it's a tough challenge. Okay? And the good news is little stuff. Like today, she never sings, and today I started singing You Are My Sunshine. She's sang along with me. Gosh, she sounded good. Small game. Okay, hit it. Must be some words to go with that. Oh, yeah. Here's what I want you to do. Now, don't be rolling your eyes at that. Figure out how the heck can you make them part of it too. unless you have a terrible relationship, and we're not going there, I'm going with people that really care about you care about them. And I'm in Alaska, I can do nothing, okay? And I hear you say how frustrated you are, well, so am I. What can I do to get them to be part of the team? So I called some of my customers. And I said, what are you doing to keep, your kids involved? Because at one point, let me tell you this, one of my customers, he wants to talk with me. If she wants to talk with me, he said, well, we're talking with the family. I get it. That's the deal. And he said, you know what I just did? I just called my daughter and asked her, would you please be responsible for all our paperwork, mine and mom, to make sure that, if you can keep it straight, because it's so darn much. And this person doesn't respond. And he said, I'll fax you, or I'll send you, or I'll email, I'll get it to you when you watch it. And he goes, by the way, you know that new apron you bought her, well, it was new about 20 years ago, getting a little tattered. Did you possibly put $100 for it? If you find the thing would be great, but if not, give them something to do. They have nothing to do other than tell you how to do your job. And that's where we get into battle, okay? Help them stay connected. If you say, can you give time to go get another apron like that? That was phenomenal. I mean, you and gave mom. Don't badger them. So you got it yet? So you got it yet? So you got it yet? You can go. Have any luck with that in business? Let them know that you're interested, that you just didn't give them something to do to get them off your back. They gotta know that what you said was serious, so don't have stuff really personal. Okay? Gotta keep them in the loop. Some ways we can do that. There are particular songs, and you can make this list go up forever. Is there a particular song that they always sang, or that your mom always sang, that they sang when they were a little kid? Why don't you call mom and sing, Itsy Bitsy Spider? She just thought that was so funny when you did that. How about poems? Is there a particular poem? A scripture can go in there too. Is there something that you know that they like, that they know how to do, that made your loved one happy? Ask them to do it. You could call, hey, how about this? If you want to just send it, write it. If you want to write a poem, write it and email it to me or screenshot it, and I'll give it to mom. I'm going to write from Susie, real big on the bottom, because I want her to know you're out there thinking about her. Greeting cards. I love greeting cards. I have more greeting cards than I have any sense, I think, actually. I love them. I enjoy getting them. The other day, I went in my study hall where I got greeting cards. I got this many greeting cards that I don't really need. You can put them all together. Do you guys use greeting cards there for Senate? Serious? I should have thrown them in the car, because I really do. But I couldn't throw them away. Were you crazy or something? Ridiculous. So greeting cards will be very, very important in my case. All my family knows that I love them. And I like reading them. And I stick them in the, what do you call them? Cross bucks on the window. Like the window has nothing. I stick them in there on the curtain, goes into a patio area. I was looking at them before I left today. And I put my birthday on. And sometimes I look at what's there and I'm going, that's from Valentine's Day. Do you still need it on your window? Okay. Gift cards. Gift cards, gotta figure out what we're gonna do with those. If they want to send a gift card so you can take mom to Starbucks. And you're gonna make a big deal. Can you send us this gift card so we can go to your favorite restaurant, Kermit? I don't think Kermit does gift cards. We're gonna have to get a Visa one. But if you're gonna go with gift cards, it makes sense. But figure out how to book it in. So that you're there, and when we're there, I'm gonna have it, we'll call you. We'll call you. Because she just loves those tandoori sandwiches at Kermit. Kermit, as you can probably tell, is one of my favorite restaurants. I have a friend of mine who unfortunately just passed away, and they always met at Kermit. I gotta find someone else to go to Kermit, so. You like Kermit? I love Kermit. Here in town, do you like Kermit?
You know what it is? I said, it sounds like you're saying
Oh,
her was a grocery store and gift good.
oh, that's funny.
You know.
That's funny. No, I used to live in Fremont, so my RMS account was 4-H. I was in, well, people can get more. Yeah, fun. Down your truck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love small towns. It's Kermit here in Bowling Green. Kermit, like Kermit Frog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it has really good breakfast. I don't know if they have dinner. I don't know if they have dinner. No, breakfast, lunch, it's like 3. Okay. And they have these tandoori sandwiches, and I don't know what that is. Different kind of bread that they make. And then they put the stuff in there and fold it in half. And then they have this special sauce. Oh my gosh, how'd they get off on this stuff? I love it. I love it. Okay, so, you know what I did with my friend, actually? I made her gift cards. I made her gift cards. With a picture of a salad, you know, and so I would take her. And we would then go get the salad, because I was so favorite salad. And that's another way to throw honor on the back. If you get me a gift certificate, you made it, because Kermit doesn't have gift certificate. If you made a gift certificate in Alaska and sent it to my daughter, and it was from you, and it was for Kermit, you know, I hadn't thought about this for a long time. Have any of you ever had a surprise party called on you? Like for your birthday or something? Okay. What was the first thing you said when you walked into the party? What'd you say? Here's all your friends. Oh my goodness. And then you said, you all knew about this? Right? I didn't know about this. How did you learn about this? What's the feeling behind that? The most important thing in the world is for someone else to think about you and to plan for you. And one of the, I think the most fun things about a surprise party, all these people were spending all of this time beforehand thinking about me and planning a party that I would think was fun. Most of them would have to do it their time. And all my friends gave all their time to make it happen. Talk about warm feeling. And that's the whole thing with the gift card. If I make a gift card for Lone Star and I put a picture of the potato chips with the potato skin, you like the potato skin. How did you know I like the chips? Yeah, it's this. It's the orange thing. Okay? Oh, I like that. I just dreamed that up, Danielle. You didn't like it, don't tell me. Okay, your turn. What are some other things we can do to help them stay connected? This is your loved one who's never in town but never comes over. This is your sister. This is your dad's brother. What could you do? Just get crazy. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm one of the social workers here, and I get a lot of calls from family members out of state, and they'll say, I was assigned to look into home care options for my loved one. So they'll be doing more like researching resources in the community, and then they'll call, but that was kind of like what their task was.
Good. That's a good one. That's a little tough to be out of town, but hey.
Well, you can, with the computer and the phone, yeah.
Good, well, I like that. All right, anything else? What could we ask? Yeah.
My brother asked, but he was going up, maybe out in a different part of the state. And so, want him to go get a screwdriver, or go get this, or go get that. So I just started Amazon, the things he was requested, and we got him the next day, and got my brother off the hook, and, so that made me feel useful, with the other way. Hot water bottle, whatever he needed, he got the next day, and kept my brother from having to do all that running.
No, no. And with what these guys are talking about, with all the online resources,
Oh, yeah.
you can do a whole lot fast. Wow. You're good. What is this? Sit down. Anything, oh, these are great. Give me something else. Yeah.
My daughter, said mine, and it's good thing for USA Today, because our paper's only 2 days a week now, and that's not enough for him. He has to have paper every get, and he kind of freaks out when it's not there, but it's really nice. It's just really, that's his thing, to read the paper word for word for word.
Does it make any sense to you?
But not evidently, because they'll say, have you heard about this? And I'll say, and they're like, how do you know that stuff?
You got a new answer, what's your new answer? And he goes, you
Yeah.
know about this, what's your new answer?
Tell me about it.
No,
Yeah,
like excited, he's bringing something to the table
right.
that makes him successful. So I would go, no, what was that? This is with it. You already know.
For the third time.
That, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the fifth. Let's talk about that. Thanks for bringing that up. One of the things that we get is the repetitive question. Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, one of the videos is on that. The repetitive question. Think about this. You have a grandchild, or you had a child, or you were a child, or something, one of those things. And you went to see, oh, let's do Frozen. Well, you might have gone to see Frozen, I love Frozen. How many times can kids listen to Let It Go? About 122. We don't get weird over that. We may go, oh, she was listening again. But we don't go, oh, that's the 27th time you've asked that today. We listen to Let It Go one more time. When we find ourselves dealing with adults, we get frustrated. The mentation is the same place. I'm not saying they're a child, but it's that short. Kids don't have long-term memory because they got it organized and stuff. Okay? It's so hard for us to go, oh, tell me about that again. Tell me about that again. Because it's their strength, it's their reality. They got something to tell you. And one of the things, this is funny, there are 5 things that people have to do as they're growing up that I can only remember 2. I learned this a long time ago. One is to leave a legacy. Think about it. When I die, I don't want to be the finger in the lake. And when I pull it out, nobody even knows I existed. I want to leave a legacy. So I'm going to tell you the same story over and over and over. And I find myself doing that now. I go, you already heard this, you're going to hear it again. Now, I start this conversation because I want to leave, I'm not saying I want to leave a legacy, but I want to make sure you know about me. And the second one is, yeah. Think about people who are dying. We learn more from folks who are dying, I think, because they're the ones who go, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm ready, or not. I mean, but part of our job is to help others accept. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So a lot of the things that people say, they don't want to hear. They don't want that, maybe that. They don't want to talk about that. But I want to make sure that you'll be okay. Kind of interesting. Okay, anything else on our brainstorm? I know the clock's over here, you told me that. Where do we go to, 12:45? I can't remember. Okay. Other things that you could bring, I should write these down and put them in the phone.
There's 5 of us, we have a sibling text we do a lot. And so if we go to the doctor, we're doing some things, and I text everybody, and then that gives them the information to call, and then ask about it.
Good. That actually, that's actually on here. That's great. It really works because you want to make sure that they feel they're getting info. I don't want you lying in here. Good one. Yeah.
And after that, sometimes doctors are through Canada, and there's a sharing system, so every time we go to the doctor, I can share that with the girls.
Okay, if you're going to share it with girls, share it with some kind of good news.
Well, I mean, it's really important.
I don't care. Share it with some good news.
Well, so far, it's been.
Okay, because eventually, if you bump into a bad news situation, you need a friend of mine. He's 90. I think he's 93. Still plays tennis 2 times a week. Just had cancer. And it's interesting as we talk. And he goes, yeah, I got cancer. Here's what we're going to do about that. And he's got control of it. Because we were going, are we going to bring this up? He wrote it. Here's what's happening. Here's what they're telling me.
Well, I did this because when my mom, she was as sharp as you can, but still 92, so she just exited. But, I remember, she was having knees replaced and all this kind of problems with her diabetes. I never knew anything about it until, my sister said, do you want to take mom to the hospital? I mean, knee replacement. I said, what the heck? Yeah, so I want to keep them informed as much as I can.
Throwing in good stuff along with ProMedica. ProMedica has a wonderful resource. Make sure they understand it. Sometimes they talk easy in those things.
What you did about that for myself.
Yeah, I mean, and the understanding. And I read some of that. Yeah. Yeah, put this in language that helps me. And one of the things I don't find with the ProMedica is they don't do, at least I'm not finding a summary. Given all this, here's what we can. You know,
I'll save all those.
yeah. Good deal. We're on it. You didn't need these guys have it figured out. Anything else? Yeah.
Well, I'm still having problems with the anger. I really am. I'm 80 years old and all of a sudden I'm doing things that I never did. And I'm an only child. I'm doing the checking thing. That's nothing, that's easy. But he doesn't want to do anything. He push up. He likes recipes. He used to be on the computer. He did drawing. There's so many things that he used to do, and it just
Makes you mad.
it sure does.
Makes you mad.
I don't know. I can't express it because then I say bad words and then I think God won't want me anymore. And I just.
Do you have anyone you can express with bad words to? It won't work to expressing to him. But do you have somebody you can blow off like we were talking?
I don't want to do that.
Why not?
Well, because one thing, somebody else.
How important are you? You're the
Well,
most important thing going
You
for
know,
him.
that's why I say I think I should die. So if I just, and people get kids, and we say that, and I don't really, it's easy to say, and I won't commit suicide, but I should die, and then they'll put him in a home, and they'll feed him, they'll take care of him just like he needs to be. He needs it, and everything will be okay.
And somebody's sitting back and might be able to help you a little bit, kind of trying to through that seriously. I mean, isn't that kind of what you?
Well, we have caregiver support groups here monthly, here and in Perrysburg, where we,
I started going to.
oh, good, okay.
But then they say that I should stop letting him drive the car. Well, but
Call the police. Call the police.
I don't want to call, now wait a minute, you let me finish though. I told you, he's pretty good driver yet. And we live in Gibsonburg and it's only 4 blocks to go up to that bakery for coffee in the morning. It's the doctor loves that. And I'm supposed to take that away that's one of the positives. I can't take that away from him.
As long as you're comfortable with him driving, and as long as you're comfortable, okay, but go the whole route. So he crashes into something and he's gone.
But then they say, oh, if you hit somebody else, then you're responsible, and you'll lose everything and all that crap that they give you.
That sounds familiar.
Does he have any buddies that could pick him up just because they happen to be going by?
For 3 blocks?
Yeah.
No, no.
Doesn't he meet people when he gets there?
Yes, but I mean, he's only Gibsonburg, it's like
I know.
3 blocks to go up to the bakery, and then across the street, you drink a cup of coffee at the bakery, you go drink a cup of coffee at the bar. They don't drink, they just coffee, and then that's his positive.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's his positive.
You're in charge of making your decision. So you can say to those people, thanks. And here's what we're gonna do. He's gonna keep driving,
Yeah,
and I'm comfortable with it.
I am.
And don't let him bonk you on the head. Don't let him bonk you on the head. Yes, we can give all kinds of suggestions,
And what I could do doing here, yes.
and you say yes or no, or yes or no, with a suggestion. I'm a little concerned about you. Do you have friends that you go with, lemonade with?
Well, I like to play bridge and I go and play cards a couple of days a week. And
Okay.
That's my, and when I get there, I think, hey, you doing here?
No, oh, you're absolutely right. Oh, you're absolutely right. But I would go back to what I asked you before, and you went, and that is good. Anybody who can go, I have got to unload, just listen.
Well, I do, but they laugh at me and they, cause I say bad words and I don't really wanna do that.
What do you, here's a question, does it feel better when you're done?
Yeah.
Then do it. Then do it. Seriously. If they're really your friends, and you just couldn't say that. If they're really your friends, so.
But we don't do those bad words.
Well, if they don't listen,
Why you do that?
don't listen to the bad words, but I'm gonna say them anyway. Okay?
Why, and if comes to shove, go out to White Star and tell the squirrels.
Yeah.
It might start about, half of, not even 3 blocks.
My husband's family's over there, so,
Okay. Wait, so that's what we would go for, my relative, local from the area.
So, because the food's not going.
Yeah, but there's also some over there, we end up at White Star. No. But, I was gonna say something else intelligent, I know it was intelligent, just don't bother me, I'll figure this out. Do you have a, that's what I was gonna ask, do you have a pet?
He has the cat, yeah, he has the cat, and the cat's inside it, and he loves the cat.
Do you talk to the cat?
Sure, we talk to the
No,
cat.
you.
Well,
Do you
yeah.
walk The cat?
Yeah, I can go up with the cat.
Sometimes just getting it outside of your head.
He'd be listening to me, you know, that's.
No, he wants for coffee. When he wants coffee, you talk to the cat.
Well, I'm so in bed when he wants for coffee, because he gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Felt like.
It's a cat over a White Star. Well, we shot it. They don't lose them.
No, he would try, you know, like, I can't tell it.
Yeah, the cat was still.
How about journaling? Love the cat.
Does journaling work for you? If you write it down, even with the bad words in there?
I write it down, burn it. You burn it, that's what I mean, yeah.
You need, what I hear you saying, what I guess you were saying to you, get it outside of your head. It's eating away at your head.
It is, I know it is.
And you need to get,
You know,
dump it someplace.
and the bad thing about it is he never was a cusser of any kind. He really, not that he was really a God, church going, he was, but he doesn't like me to cuss at all, and that's probably why I do it.
Just one more little,
That really upsets it.
one more little,
Yeah, yes.
one more little. That's because you're absolutely right. You nailed it. You're angry. You gotta figure out where to put that anger. Because it's real, real, real.
It is real.
Not phony at all. It's real.
No, I really need it.
But can't you let that roll off your back if you can?
Some people can. I can. And if I get angry, I need to tell someone, okay, fine, thank you very much. I mean, some people do that very well. I have not been, I'm not sure you're so good at it either.
Well, you don't, no,
You can probably swear in here, I suppose.
nobody would be no sense for that. I mean,
But swearing by its very self is a, how do I say it, is a way to express anger.
well, it is.
I mean, some of those words are good. Because, I mean, they've got so much behind it. You know?
I really think that my religion is suffering because I can't think. I don't want to, I can't
Okay.
think that God accepts me. The way I
Oh, yeah.
Let's go ahead and
say that.
Oh.
Just go,
Don't go away. Okay. Somebody's got to keep me on track. All right, go ahead. We're done with our brainstorm. What the hell? So the people out there, I'll just fell asleep. That's not good. Okay, now, here's where the homework comes in. I want you to discuss with them, those relatives, and capture conversation starters. We already did this in the last session. Flip the slide, one. It's what we talked about earlier. What does your loved one like to see, smell, taste, touch, hear? work with them, because eventually they're gonna call your loved one. And I don't want them to go, hi, how are you? I want them to start with, we're thinking about the time you took us on that camping trip and it rained and you guys were swimming by the morning. Okay? I'm real serious about this, because if you don't have this information, if your family doesn't have this information, what the heck do you want me to say? What the heck do you want me to say? I don't know what to say. I don't know how to bring up a conversation. Please, 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 as you're working on this, I would even have words with your conference call thing. I would call up and go, let's find 3 things that mom likes to see. We'll write it. Don't tell Diana Waugh that you bought the book and then you copied it and sent it to the press. Don't tell me that part. Okay? Seriously, so that you're all on the same page. Remember that slide that said family, staff, and person? This is it. Please, 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 get this information, get it down, ask for them. So some of you say, well, I didn't know them in the old days. I don't think any difference. Who said 27 years? You've been married 27 years. In the 27 years, there has gotta be some memories. I don't care about 327. You know. Yeah, see? So, we said not many, I thought we said many. Okay.
I could, something happened the other day. And he said, and we got to talking about it, something that we didn't want that.
Okay.
And he said,
And you say, yeah, sometimes it's just hard to remember that.
yeah, I do, but
But there are some things that I don't remember, and I don't think I should remember. I mean,
well,
again, family things they were fun, I didn't have this good time. Okay? Please, 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 the more you write these things down with the family, the further you all are, if there's gonna be phone calls, and we're getting to that part, okay? Then we wanna do this one. And you'll skip the next one, it's the same thing we heard before, the good old memory. It's the things they like to see, kids now pay attention here, and the good old memory. These 6 things, okay? The more information that you guys share as a family, the more tools you have to keep all the advice off your back, okay? Oh, don't forget to share this with them. Don't ask the person with short-term memory about the short-term memory question. Because eventually we're gonna get on the phone, get to that part, we're gonna get on the phone, and I want to go, how are you, Mom? Because you're gonna have to deal with it all day long. Because once she feels like a failure, right? Came from somebody on the phone. I got this going on, and I don't want that going on. Okay? So share this with them, just so you get it in your head. We're gonna say it together again, up to 3 go. We don't ask the person, which short-term memory law. Share the, the high, how are you, with your person. Simple, simple, simple. Short-term memory questions that get us in such trouble so fast. Okay, you're gonna share that with them. Live in their reality. That's what you're gonna share with your sister. If he thinks, as we were talking, if he thinks Joe and Sue were married, Joe and Sue are married. That's how that is. I think that's where some of the anger comes from, because I'm going, that is all wrong. In your world it is. In his world it's not. In his world it makes sense. That's the biggest mistake I made with my mom. I spent an enormous amount of time being mean to her. I didn't mean to be mean to her, but I wanted to drag her into my reality. I was awful. Me. I was even teaching this stuff at the time. But it's different, like you're saying. I had the anger, I was there. Okay, and if I told her enough times, she'd remember. No, it didn't work. So I had to do something for them. Get on the good side. Okay? Share this with them. You have set up a communication format. You have set up a communication format. Set it up. Hey, should we text? Should we email? How will we communicate? And guys, if you're going to communicate with them, you have got to have positives in what your communication is. Some of us don't do all that, okay? But you've got to be the one prompting the goods, because they don't know the goods. They don't know the goods. They're not there. They don't see them. And the goods are little, okay? Set up a calendar. Should we talk Sunday afternoon at 3? Should we talk Monday morning at 6, is your, oh? What should we do with the communication calendar? And set something, he's got a communication calendar, it's called coffee. Okay, he's got a place to go and talk, he knows that tomorrow I'm gonna talk to those guys again. It's part of feeling connected. I know that if I got something to say, we're gonna talk on Thursday night at 8, whatever. And you and I both understand that doesn't always work, okay? But try to set a communication calendar. Let's all talk on it. Set up an emergency news process. Something bad happens. Something bad happens when you share. Let's all go for this. They wandered away, we can't find them. They're not so good things. Okay? But set up something with some of one of my friends. When we got into this part, I'd call and go, guys, but that was the warning that said, that's what I had to say to this. Isn't exactly the best news. But I wasn't going, not bad news for you. You know, I said, guys, and it worked. Okay. If you're going to use the phone with them, if you can, use the speakerphone. And the reason being, so you can intervene when they say, so, how are you today? So you can go, you know what? Don't let your way people make your loved one unhappy, because you're gonna have to deal with it. So it's kind of like putting a little shield around them. If you use a speakerphone, you're the one that can start with, I was thinking about the time we went camping. Hey, John, so what about that time we went camping and you lost your drawers? Anything that will keep the group yakking as a group, okay? But do use a speakerphone so that you can help in case it starts going south. And if it starts going south, you can always go, you know, guys, go back to continue with it. Okay? The more everyone can stay together, the more everyone wins. The more support you'll get from them, for the tough job yours is. They, you know, you're saying you feel badly about being angry. Well, many times they're feeling bad because they're not involved. I'm not helping anyone. I feel terrible because I'm not helping, but I can't, and maybe get all the but I can't. Okay. What happened? I kind of like what because you're living this, but I like small town Americans because all my sons are close around. But that's not true. I have 2 sons. One lives in Florida, one lives in Southern Ohio. And I was thinking, I can't do this because I'll get in trouble. I was thinking the other day, what if I needed assistance? And I named friends. I've been friends with a lie, my good friends, but you know, I need local support.
I only have 2 children now, son lives in North Carolina, and he was always crazy about his dad. Now he's been, now, you, is your turn. Because when I'm 80 years old, it's still in your turn. He was good to you all those years, now you guys are good to him.
We need to talk about that.
Well, longer.
Give him a job. Say, I need your help. I'm stepping in, but help us figure out that great time. What can you do to help me? Because I'm 80, and old, and I don't have the energy I had when I was younger. And I understand, sir, you're telling me it's my turn. I got it. Then I need your help. I'm a little bit what you see, what you get, but I'm not nasty. All righty. There we go. I'm still in here with the first half, and life is not